Oh, hey everybody, this is Jason, Zombie Collector, and I decided to get all gussied up and ready to strut my stuff here on a very special video that I'm doing here today for you all. So I got all glamored up because this is a special day for our community. This is the Hall of Fame contest for everybody out there in the YouTube world who does what we do, which is showing baseball cards and sporting cards in general, that we can come together and circle the wagons and pick the top 10 people that you think deserve to be in the Hall of Fame for this year. So I poured over the statistics. I looked over all the analytics. I asked all the top dogs, top tier folk, I even have a pin here to prove it, that have done this before and to like get their insights. And I have calculated my list of the most deserving people. Now we know that there are lots and lots of people who could be on this list, and maybe one day they will, and maybe one day they shall. But today, this is our Independence Day, and we are going to get to the bottom of this with my top 10, which really at the end of the day only matters what I think because I'm wearing a tie around my fat neck, and you know that means a lot. It's like a pig rolled in asparagus, like we call that pig in a blanket or something, or bacon rolled with sausage, I don't know, but you know what I mean. And without any further ado, we're talking about fatness and pigs, and that's not what you're coming here for. You're coming for the 10 people who made my list, which again is the only list that matters for the Hall of Fame. So the first up is Wesker Griff. Ed, this man is a legend. Not only in his own mind, but in my mind. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. He's one of the first guys I saw on YouTube. I respect him tremendously because he does so many great things for this community. He has content that's always changing. He has Chasing for the Mookie. He has Mail Days. He has Game of Thrones stuff. I mean, there's a little bit of everything, a cornucopia, if you will, of things that he has on his channel. He might not always be behind in front of the camera. Sometimes he graces us with his presence, which I appreciate. It's like a little bit of a look behind the curtain, if you will. But I really appreciate Ed because he's always a genuine guy. And I appreciate that about Ed because it's hard to find genuine dudes sometimes. So Ed, this buzz for you. And this is in no particular order, by the way. These are just 10 people I thought were the bee's knees. Talking about bees, we got Nuf Ced Cards. Andrew, class act, been around for over a year now. He is, in my opinion, my 2 cents, 0.02, is the premier authority for all things pre-war. So if you go to his channel for anything else, you might be surprised to not have a lot to go for because he is so focused and he's so knowledgeable about his cards that it made me actually want to look into pre-war stuff. Now, he will, once in a while, show you other things. And again, kind of like Ed, you go there for those little tidbits that he leaves, a little bit of meat on the bone he leaves for all of us who might not be just the pre-war stuff, but he's a big Boston Red Sox collector, and he collects with his boys. And it is a fun time on his channel because he makes it fun, and I feel like I'm in history class, which was my favorite subject in school. See the tie? And so I love to learn about something extra when I go to a channel, and Andrew's that guy. So Andrew, thank you for your contributions to this community. Talking about contributions and positive thinking, I got Eric, Those Back Pages. This man is a conundrum, an enigma, if you will. He has a voice of an angel, but a beard from Jerry Garcia. You sometimes just don't know what you're dealing with, but he wants to be a positive influence in this community, always sharing, always learning, be positive, trying to get everybody, their grandmother, to go to the National this year. And he is just a breath of fresh air. He's a comic book collector, a vintage collector, a pack and box breaker in some respects, or at least he keeps them and just shows them to us, and we're all drooling. He might not break it. He just keeps it to look. He might have them in a vault somewhere in his castle there in New York. But he is another guy who is just fantastic about what he does. He has so much positive energy that even this old conundrum appreciates it and just really enjoys what he brings to the community. He is always there to offer up a positive word and a word of encouragement to somebody, and always wants you to continue to learn, and he wants to learn from you. And if you come to my channel, you know you don't learn very much, because it's all done with smoke and mirrors. Next up, talking about smoke and mirrors and intellectual stuff in the psyche maybe, we got Tony, Psyched on baseball cards. This gentleman here is a class act. He puts the cl in class. He puts the act in act, class act. And I came up with that on my own on the fly. I'm impressed with myself. But he is one of those guys who is very calm, collect. He talks about his Oakland A's. He talks about his mail days. He talks about his care packages he gets. And he takes the most mundane, random 1960 whatever card of some worthless common, and he makes you care about that guy. I might not know much about Jebediah Jehoshaphat, but he makes me care about him because he just reads off all these statistics and funny anecdotes, and all of a sudden I'm a Jehoshaphat and a Donimanite fan. And who knew? Before I went to his channel, I would never have known that. He is a guy who is genuine, and I appreciate it. He's one of those guys that makes mistakes, and then he'll come on like the next video and make a response video to his own video saying that he made a mistake on something. And that to me tells me he cares and he wants to keep it classy. Talking about classy, we have Victor Negron cards. This guy has always been a supporter of mine. He's always almost in my live feeds. He almost always has something positive to say about my videos. He himself responds on every single one of my video comments to his videos. He responds, as I would say most of these guys have done, especially Tony and Wesker Griff. These guys, I mean, they are just awesome about responding back. All of them are. Right? Even if I didn't mention their names, they all are. But Victor is definitely one of those guys I know that if I make a comment or he makes a comment on my channel, we're having a back and forth. We're having a verbal tit for tat. And I appreciate about that. He also is such an incredible, knowledgeable guy about baseball, basketball, football, New York, the Yanks, all this kind of stuff. And I appreciate him so very much. And he's one of those guys, I feel like he kind of is like always there, but he doesn't get the just desserts that he deserves. So here, Victor, I'm giving you your cake and ice cream so you can have them both. And if you have not heard or support Victor as amongst the other guys, you need to do that. It's fun. Bernie Williams might not be a stud in a lot of people's minds, but in his mind, he's a total stud. Talking about studs, Aaron Davis, complete stud. This guy here, another guy who does football and basketball, but baseball. The one thing I like about Aaron is, man, wow. Just so knowledgeable when it comes to things of like yesteryear. Negro leaguers, he has stories that he shares from his parents' time that they would share with him about their experience watching and learning and hearing about the Negro leagues. It's amazing. And then, you know, he takes the most like random picture that you barely think about, like a Mark Langston or something like that. It has all these wonderful stats or information or stories about somebody like that you haven't thought about maybe ever. And he is just such a great guy. Genuine guy, wealth of knowledge, super nice. He always pops in on my live streams as well to give an encouraging word or just to hang out. And I just respect him tremendously. And I hope you all consider him as well as a top tier, top Hall of Famer this coming year, for sure. Talking about top tier people, we got Dustin and Blake. This guy is a father and son duo, and they also been guys I've seen been around for a while. My son and his son's probably the exact same age or just a year apart. But Dustin, sometimes he does one of these, and you're like, oh my gosh, he doesn't even care about it. Then he's just all like dabbing and dropping the dab, and sometimes he hits it out of the ballpark, and he just is always a breath of fresh air. And I also like Dustin because a couple of reasons. One, he obviously keeps his kid on track, which sometimes is hard to do, or focused. But then you can see the love they have for each other and like the back and forth they have. And that's a true father-son relationship. That's what I have with my son. I feel like that's why I can watch their channel and enjoy. But I also like when Dustin goes solo. Sometimes I like it better because, you know, you can kind of be more real. And we all understand that we have kids. You got to, you know, kind of hopefully keep it classy, keep it PG, PG-13 even sometimes. But sometimes, you know, you don't want to let your kids know the harsh realities of life. And I like Dustin because he just sometimes a straight shooter. Like when he said, I want 4 people for my Mount Sportsmore, not anymore. And I appreciate that. So if you have not seen their channel, they're great. They're Minnesota people. Don't hold that against them. They're big fans of all those teams in that area. So Vikings, Twins, whatever else. I don't know, Timberwolves maybe, but I think they're more football, basketball. But anyways, definitely Dustin and Blake. They are some snazzy dudes. Talk about a snazzy dude. We got icollectichiro Ray. Now this guy is my brother from another mother when it comes to the Japanese world of collecting, especially Ichiro. I mean, he's so much into it. I mean, his name's Ichiro. I mean, his title is in the name. Ray is a great guy. He and I comment a lot on Facebook, actually. We became Facebook official. And I've got to know him through his family and his pictures and his life, and it's great. He only posts videos a lot when it comes to Ichiro, but he's been around for over a year because he's so focused. Again, he goes for those top tier. When I collect Ichiro, I'm like getting all the crumbs, the stuff that like, you know, falls off of Ray's table. He's getting like the Hall of Fame or the future Hall of Famers autographs and memorabilia cards and like 1 of 1s and 1 of 5s and tracking down cards that no one's ever heard of or seen, but apparently they've been created and he found them underneath a rock somewhere. And that is definitely Ray. I collect Ichiro. Super, super classy dude. And I just love what he does for the community. He's very consistent. If you like Ichiro, you will like his channel because he has cards that probably even Ichiro hasn't even seen and didn't even know he was a part of. And that's how good he is. Talking about how good he is, it cometh an egg. This guy here, I'm a Johnny-come-lately on his channel, but I have been watching him pretty religiously for the last couple months. I've been going back to the archives for Eggy and watching a lot of the things in the past, and him and I have a ton in common, shockingly. And it's just so much fun to hear him talk about wrestling, talking about his grandma with her Spanish as she's speaking to him sometimes off camera and just really getting on him about things. I just think it's a fantastic channel. There's sometimes no rhyme or reason, and that's what I like about it because it could be something the most like you would just think, opening a pack of cards or talking about a mail day, and he makes it so much fun, cracking me up, cracking all of us up. He is a breath of fresh air into the community. He's always under the radar, I think, too. Like, I think, at least for me, is he's so unassuming, but when he shows up, it gets real. And I just love that about his channel and about him as a person. I just really enjoy him. His humor, I just love his humor. I can't say it enough. I feel like that's the kind of guy I could have a drink with, and we could talk about almost any topic, and we would have a good time talking. And I like a guy like that. I like a guy who I can break bread with and have a good time with and just enjoy each other's company. Talking about enjoying each other's company, I can actually say I love spending time with Mark from Kentucky. Him and I spent time together this past weekend, or 2 weekends ago now. Got to hang out with him. He is the real deal. You get what you get. When you see him on his video, he's the same guy in person. Maybe a little bit even more reserved and shy, I think. Which is fine because I'm so loud and obnoxious and gregarious and jovial. I don't know if there's any other adjectives I can think of, but those are it. I got my tie, so I got to think of like $20 words. But Mark, such a great guy in the community. He has his $100 bill videos, you know, collecting for $100, 80s cards, rookie cards, up-and-coming guys. I love it. He also has his great mail days. He collects a lot of great stuff on a budget, which I really appreciate. He keeps it classy, keeps it on a budget. Him and I were talking about kind of his approach, and I really like the way he does things. I mean, the guy is just total class all the way around. And I just loved hanging out with him. And I'm hoping it'll become somewhat of a regular opportunity now that we both haven't know that we can go to a show together on Sundays in my neck of the woods. So as long as he's available, we can maybe go. And, you know, he reached out to me recently, this yesterday, and told me about a cool baseball card shop he came to learn about or find in Louisville, where I'm from originally. So we're talking about maybe going there and hanging out also. So again, Martin from Kentucky, wonderful, wonderful dude. Such a just knowledgeable, just I don't know. I mean, I got all kind of man crush for Mark. Talking about man crushes. Snoop, right there, everybody. Look at Snoop. 12922, right there. Xavier. I mean, listen, this guy, he deserves awards just for his show around the hobby. I mean, this guy is awesome. He is super knowledgeable. He takes time out of his busy day catching fish, catching Negro League ball player cards, catching Raleigh Fingers cards, catching Zimmerman and Harper and whoever else is a current day Washington National, and does these videos. He puts so much time and effort into it. He deserves not only a Hall of Fame award, but I would even venture to say and go out on a limb that he deserves an Emmy. An Emmy, dude. You deserve an Emmy for the work that you've done and continue to do for our community. I can sit there and watch you talk about almost anything because you're super knowledgeable, it's super fun, and I can tell you come prepared. Unlike me, because this tie and this disheveled here is never prepared. But I truly enjoy what you bring to the community, Snoop. You're one of the few guys that I just really want to sit down and have a beer with also, because I think that'll be a lot of fun. I think you keep it 100% all the time, which a lot of guys I have a feeling have a hard time with. And I know when I'm dealing with you, I'm dealing with a straight shooter, and I just like that about him. But the thing about Snoop at the end of the day is he's cool as a cucumber. And I just like that about him. He's a cool cat, and I just love cool cats, man. He's a cool cat. All right, talking about cool cats, my last one up is TTM Autograph, formerly known as Troy Rudder. Just like Wesker Griff Ed, TTM Autograph has been around since the dawn of YouTube. At least it feels that way. He is one of those most honest and down-to-earth guys. He shows autographs of all kinds. He should be included because he collects 1991, I believe, Donruss baseball cards and get them all autographed. And he spent years doing this, and he should be acknowledged for that. Very few of us have that kind of determination to just keep on sending away, getting rejection notices, having your money and your cards and your stamps just disappear, never to be seen again, and to try and try and try again. And it is awesome. He just doesn't send just 1991 Donruss. He sends out to spring training all the time, to people's houses, to the stadiums, to their places of business if they're retired, and he shows you their progress. He tells people how to collect TTM. He's written books about TTM, and he's done exposés on his channel about how to be a great TTMer. He does a website, Instagram. I mean, he does like podcasts. I mean, Troy is literally all over the place. If you throw a rock around YouTube, you're probably gonna hit something Troy touched at some point. He's been around for so long. And he is a great guy. I mean, he's just very honest about his situation with life, and he just asks questions. A lot of times it's like point blank questions like, what would you do, guys? This is my situation. I don't know what I should do. Give me your thoughts. I'm scared to ask people that question. If I ask somebody, what would you think I should do? I'd be scared about my response, your response. Troy, he is willing to take one for the team and answer or take what people's responses may be. Though he might not want to hear it, he likes to talk, he wants to have that back and forth. And he never gets the respect, kind of like Ed, the respect they deserve. They've been around before, like I said, the dawn of man doing this, and they haven't got the accolades they deserve. Some of these other guys have been around for years, But these guys have been around since, like I said, the beginning. It was like YouTube came to them and said, we need you to make content, and they started making content. So guys, this is my response for the Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame! I got my tie on tight. I'm ready to rock and roll. Rock out with my socks out. I hope you all enjoy this video for your viewing pleasure. Everybody here, I got everybody up in here. So thank you again for your time. And until next time, remember, peace, love, hair grease, and I'm out. Like a fat kid in dodgeball, I'm out.